Okay, Viking schedule. It's out. We know the dates, we know the times, we know the layout of the schedule for year two of KOC. Um, just give some thoughts here. You can see it elsewhere, but my thoughts. We're opening at home against Tampa Bay. First game, which will be great because it'll be the first game of the post Tom Brady era of the NFL, and it'll be a nice reminder that that fucking asshole is no longer in the NFL. Um, and then we go on a short week two at Philadelphia for Thursday Night Football. For some reason, we always have to play at Philly in a prime time setting. That'll be one that might be the toughest game of the whole schedule. For some reason, we always go to Philly week two. I don't know what that's about. That's like this will be like the third time at least that that's happened. Um, and then coming back home game against the LA Chargers. Eric Kendricks will be back here. They'll be very emotional. And then another reunion the next week. Week four, we go to Carolina to face Adam Thielen and Bryce Young, I guess, and the Panthers. Uh, week five, we're back here for the big marquee game that everyone's going to be looking forward to, including me. We're hosting the Chiefs. First time, uh, first time ever that Patrick Mahomes will play against the Vikings because he didn't play against us 4 years ago, and we lost anyway. But yeah, it'll be the first. It'll be the first Mahomes versus Vikings game. It'll be obviously the first game here, so that'll be a real big deal. And then let's see, keep this up here. Okay, yeah, and then week six we go to the Bears um, to face whatever the hell the Bears are, whatever the hell the Bears are able to cook up for the season. Then we're back here week after that. 49ers coming in on Monday Night Football. Um, it'll be nice to host them. We always seem another one like we always seem to go to Philadelphia. We always seem to go to San Francisco, but we'll get them. We'll get them here. Who knows who their quarterback's going to be? If it's going to be Purdy, Lance, somebody else. Um, but that'll be another a big marquee game. We got some marquee games for the home schedule early in the season. Then week eight we go to Lambeau and the Jordan Love led Packers, and here's one of the things I really like on the schedule. We get those Chicago and Green Bay road games out of here before even October is done. So it's before the cold arrives. We don't have to deal with any of that crap. I think last year I think it was we played our last two games of the season at Green Bay at Chicago, um, and they don't keep their fields in very good condition. So it's good to get those out of the way before the weather really turns shitty. Let's see, then we go back on the road to play the Falcons. Don't think the Falcons are going to be very good, but now hell, the way Vikings fans travel these days, that'll probably be a Vikings home game. Probably be a lot of Vikings fans go down there. Then week 10, we're hosting the Saints. I don't even know who the hell they're supposed to be their quarterback this year, but whatever. That's one of your easier games at that point in the season. The schedule's admittedly pretty tough early, but you know it eases up considerably. And then week 11 we go to Denver for another primetime game. This will be a Sunday night football game against Sean Payton, butthole mouth himself, and Russell Wilson probably telling everybody to ride. Um, be our first trip to Denver since Peyton Manning was still the quarterback of the Broncos. So that'll be another pretty interesting one. Then week 12 we go to the Bears. Monday Night Football. I don't know why it doesn't happen every year, but we sure get a lot of at Bears in prime time. We never seem to host them in prime time, but we always seem to go there in prime time. Apparently that could be flex though, because I believe they can flex Monday Night Football games this year. So we'll see. We'll see. We as of now we have 5 primetime games. We'll see if we actually end up with 5 primetime games. But then week 13 we get the bye. I'm sure there's differing opinions on this. I like having the late bye. We had the early bye this past year. Was it like week 6 or something like that? I like the later bye. You're a little beat up. I mean, I think this is technically into December now when they have the bye. You're beat up. You know, you want to get healthy for the playoff push. I like having the late bye. And after the bye, we have a couple of road games. We go to Vegas. Be the first time the Vikings play in Vegas in the regular season. I believe we played them in the preseason a year or two ago. To face the Raiders and Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is their quarterback now. So that'll be a challenging game, but I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that's another one that's almost like a Vikings home game. There'll probably be a lot of people there cheering on the Vikings. Then we get a week after that, we all go back on the road at the Bengals. That'll be a pretty tough one. Our first trip to Cincinnati since the Dalvin Cook didn't fumble game. I'm still not over it. But that'll be a pretty tough game. There's really no reason to think that the Bengals aren't still going to be very, very good. So that'll be a tough one. And then after that, we finish up with 3 home games. We finally play the Lions here on Christmas Eve. And then New Year's Eve night, we host the Packers for Sunday Night Football. Pending flexing, we'll see if that happens. But I mean, if it does, do you think there's going to be some drunk people hanging around in downtown Minneapolis on that night? Oh man, there's going to be more car accidents and drunken disorderly arrests than you've ever seen before. Then we finish up week 18. We go to Detroit. And we'll see what happens with the Lions. The NFL is clearly thinking that the Lions are going to be something this year because they picked the Lions to be the team to go face the Chiefs in week 1. So, but we'll see. I mean, whatever the Lions are, if the Lions are great, well, we don't have to worry about them until Christmas. And if they're terrible, well, then guess what? We got a couple of pretty easy wins there at the end of the season to help us out. So, we obviously we knew all the opponents, we knew the where, we just didn't know the when and in what order. I mean, I kind of love how this schedule lays out for the Vikings. Yes, there's going to be some. You gotta hit those home games early, and maybe including the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs are not invincible. You can beat the Chiefs, but Chargers, 49ers. You gotta hit those home games. Of course, we have one less home game this year because we're that alternates now. So we only get 8 home games. Last year we had 9, and hell, last year we didn't even have 8 road games because one was a neutral site. But I think this schedule lays out pretty well. If you can kind of hold your own through about that first 6 weeks or so, I think they can really clean up. And again, we don't know for sure. Like there are teams on the schedule that maybe don't look imposing that will be better than we think, and vice versa. I mean, maybe maybe the Lions will be bad. Maybe maybe Denver will be bad again. Who knows? But record predictions, whatever. Like it's all going to depend on 2 things. It's going to depend on injuries and how much can Brian Flores improve this defense in one off season. Can he get them to just adequate status? Because if he can, then yeah, I think this is another division winning season. And if you have a better defense, yeah, you can maybe actually have a real chance of doing something in the playoffs. Even if they don't have a better record than last year, and they probably won't. I mean, I'd be shocked if they won 13 games again. But yeah, so that's it. Some marquee games. We definitely have a couple of home games that are going to be hot tickets. And now we wait. It's like 4 months until I didn't check what the date was for that Tampa Bay opener, but it's like it's basically 4 months. Long wait, and we still have damn near 3 months till training camp. But now at least we have the dates to look forward to, and that Kansas City game is going to be that's going to be something else, especially if our defense still sucks, because that game could end up being that Chiefs Rams game from a few years ago that was like whatever it was, like 48-45 or something like that. We could end up with another one like that. But all right, that's about it. Skol.